transformation. Let's all welcome him on stage.
One and all. We are running a little late, so I'll try to go a little quicker through the presentations. I'm not sure if we'll have time for answers, but let's see. So my name is Dr. Rajeev Papneja, and I look after the operations of ESDS Software Solutions Private Limited. We are a growing company based out of Nashik. I am not here as a speaker of any open source organization. Like, I don't represent Linux or I don't represent Zen. Neither I am here for representing any proprietary solutions. So what I am doing, really what my focus is, we are a growing company. We build technology products and we use these technologies, whether it is open source, whether it is proprietary. So my whole goal is, whatever I have seen in last 3 years, whatever we have developed, whatever we have faced, I want to bring all that in front of you. And then, just like you, I'm also one of you who wants to decide, where is this open technology going, where is open source going, and is it really driving cloud transformation? So the question at the start is, yes, it may be driving, no. We really, all of us are confused, or at some stage we don't know. Some might say yes, some might say no. So I'll just give you a brief about our company. We started 8 years back. For some reason, it's not supporting PowerPoint properly. Anyway, right now, as it stands today, after 8 years, we are a group of companies located in UK, US and India. We have more than 20,000 customers with us, and we have our global presence in Pan India. We are in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, and we are trying to now grow in South. These are some of our services and product offerings. So we are basically a tier 3 data center, and all the flavors of classic data center that you could hear of, whether it was private servers, VPS, dedicated servers, email hosting. So we provide all those. As far as cloud hosting is concerned, we have built our own cloud. It is called Enlight Cloud, and it is built on open technology, Zen. We have used Zen kernel, we have customized it. We have used Citrix APIs, and we have built a very flexible billing model around it. And we take pride in being the first one to release an auto-scaling cloud. That was released 2.5 years back. We have filed patents for it. So this is a cloud which actually auto-scales based on your load. So you don't have to go on your control panel like any other cloud provider and ask for resources. And you're also billed not for what we allocate to you, because allocation we always keep extra for you for spikes. But we actually bill you on the exact usage that you do for every 5 minutes. And that could be to 3 decimal places like 1.245 GB of RAM or 0.345 CPU. So every 5 minutes we do that billing. So what we have tried to do is, it's a prepaid model like mobile, and what we have tried to bring is a true utility model like electricity. So for electricity, you don't have to go every month and go in some control panel and say, this month is Diwali, I'll need little X voltage more or kW more. It's basically how much you use, you pay. So that is exactly what we have built around Zen kernel and customized using Citrix APIs. Some of our products, and all these products are on open source. So we have a auto-scaling cloud. We have eMagic, which is a complete data center monitoring tool. It's in PHP, it uses SNMP. We have vulnerability scanner. Since Gartner is now predicting that with bring your own devices becoming popular, what is going to happen is more than 25% increase you will see in vulnerability and malwares and trojans. So we have our own MTV scanner that we have developed, and of course we have a cheap solution for SMEs and SMBs of storage. So a storage that would roughly cost you around 10 lakhs if you go for a branded storage is something that we have taken the Dell R610s and we have customized it, we have written our own software, and we give you at half the price. Now let's see the cloud layers before we move forward. So when I look at it from the data center perspective, from the IaaS perspective, at the infrastructure level, there is a data center, there is a networking layer, which is generally, Cisco's are there, there's Hitachi. We have servers from IBM, Dell, HP, and there's a virtualization layer, which can be VMware, which can be Hyper-V, which can be KVM. So this constitutes your infrastructure as a service. On top of this, you basically make virtual machines on which you put operating systems, which could be Windows, which could be Linux, which could be different flavors of Windows and Linux, could be Ubuntu. On top of that, there is an orchestration layer that we have, and an infrastructure layer. Now the database or the, for example, Google Apps is there, SQL Server is there, MySQL is there. This constitutes what you really call platform as a service. So people have now started giving you platform as a service. If you go to cloud providers, you can either ask for infrastructure, you could ask for platform, or as my friend was speaking about applications, you can have ERPs which are built on open source. Sugar CRM is there. Sugar CRM is a very good CRM software that's built on open source. Exchange is there. So all these applications that are developed, this constitutes your software as a service layer. So cloud initially started from the compute layer, then it matured to platform layer, now to apps layer, and now at this point people are talking about processes as a service, business as a service, networking as a service. Cloud has matured way above this now. Now defining open source. So what really is open source? As I understand, open source is a model that permits free sharing of technological information. So do you think open source just started in 98 or 96 when Linux started coming up? Is that when open source started? Actually, open source is not just related to technology, just not related to software technology. It goes a long back. If you go and look back at the start of 1900s, where motor cars were prepared, bikes were prepared, there were patents filed by two-wheeler manufacturers that you cannot copy these parts. And at that time, Ford came into picture, and then Henry Ford, he took out all these things. He made that open source that you could actually use parts. So that's where the open source model has still been used. Source code publicly available. That's one of the features of open source. So when we work on Zen, we customize the kernel, we have the open source. When we work on Linux, we have the source code. We can modify the source code as we wish and distribute it freely. Now this free term, this is a very catchy term. Does free really mean monetary free? How many of you think that it is monetary free? When we talk about open source, it is free. Is it really free? No, right? So what does free mean? Free is actually freedom to use. Okay. There are certain licenses, there are certain GNU licenses. You have to take care of all those. Plus, there is a cost element involved, which I'll tell you later. Now, what is happening today in the world is, so there are these IT heads who are moving towards open source with full speed. Some of them has accepted it, some of them, they are just chanting, yes, yes, this is good for me. Every time I go to these summits, and every time these IT heads hear and they say, yes, this is perfect. We are going to have open source in our enterprise. But others, what they are doing, who have gone a step ahead, what they are doing right now is, so it's a classic cartoon that I got. So there's this guy who says, I hate Microsoft, so I want to go into open source, and his colleague is saying, okay, yeah, that's right, let's just use Mozilla Firefox instead of IEs, and let's use Thunderbird instead of Outlook. But at the base, what they are not seeing is that they're still talking on XP machines. So what is really open source? Is this an open source model? Now, free, how do you define that term freedom? For me, open source is providing me freedom of choice. So it is taking away all the challenges of proprietary system. That is what open source is providing to me. It provides the power to control source code. Now what happens with the proprietary systems? Any upgrade that comes up, either you have to buy the upgrade or you have to buy the licenses. Whether you like it or not, you have to spend to get those. Here, it is all in your hands, whether you want to upgrade the source code right now, how necessary it is. Do you want to do that spending right now, or can it wait? It empowers to choose your preferred vendor for support. So, if I've got something from IBM, I don't have to stick with IBM for support. I might actually not like the support from them. Maybe I need another vendor. Maybe a vendor who I get along with nicely. I need support from him and he can support. So that's what open source is. That's where when Linux came, Red Hat Linux was introduced. Red Hat started supporting. It had its own version of Linux which was stable. It helps lower cost of ownership. Now how does it do that? It's basically the software itself is free, the kernel is free. So when I built cloud on this, the Zen kernel was free for me. So I built on top of Zen. I didn't have to go to build Zen. So that cost of developing Zen, of developing the base system, on top of that I had the Citrix APIs which were free. So that cost of developing the Citrix APIs that can talk with Zen, all I needed was to develop something innovative on top of that, where we came up with auto-scaling cloud and a billing model that auto-scales. So now the only element here involved is the support cost. Because you cannot just live with forums, you cannot just live with the community. There are certain issues there also, and I have personally faced it in last 2 years. So that's where I want to open all these things up. Now, there are community of developers. This is a plus point, and all of these have diverse experiences. So they come from different backgrounds. Like my friend came from Sybase, he was working in 98 for Sybase, now he works for Linux. So he has a diverse background, and similarly when you have a community, one of the things is that people think from different angles, which helps in making a quality product. And also it helps at the security layer, because different people have different requirements, and due to those different requirements they will look at that product from different angles of security. So it helps to create the code more secure. It eliminates the business continuity risks even if the vendor closes the shop. So this is something like what happens if Sybase goes out of business because it just did not accept the cloud. So who supports now the people who had bought Sybase? Now what if it was open source? I could actually have community of developers who I could hire. If not to continue with Sybase, at least I could have ported it to some other database. So a classic example is Android. If you see, there's a community of developers, and how many applications have come up on Android. It took away BlackBerry, took away Nokia. Why is it becoming so much famous? Why is it going above Symbian and above all these things? Because they couldn't keep up with the innovation, because they tried to keep everything closed, while this opened up everything. And now you have hundreds of applications, and 90% of the people sitting here, either they are using Android in some way, shape or form. Now the true hypervisors, which I actually call them true open source, is KVM and Zen. They have helped major service providers to come up with these unique cloud models, and we are one of them. So we use Zen, Citrix APIs to come up with an auto-scaling cloud. Now as I go back and I think we are a growing company, if Zen was not free, if Citrix was not free, would I have actually bought VMware and tried to build a model of auto-scaling? Would I have come up with an innovation which is patent pending today in all continents? No. Since it was free, some people at my research, kids wanted to play around, they were just passed out from colleges, graduated from colleges, and they came up with this beautiful model which is now patent pending. It helps reduce development and maintenance cost. As I told you that we had the base ready, we had the Zen kernel ready, we had the Citrix ready. All we did was build on top of that. It assists in attracting top talents virtually. So now I don't have to hire people. There are top brains outside who are working. They are a part of community, and you shoot out your requirements, and there will be some brain who will reply to you, and maybe that brain is more efficient than the brain you have inside. It also enables us and other brains to influence the project. So when we are talking about a proprietary system, so if I am talking about Windows and there is a team of Windows, so I was just sitting with Mr. Srinivasan from Windows team, and he was telling me about all they are doing, and he is working with Linux team so that Hyper-V can support Linux now. But still, it is a team that is already in Microsoft. What happens here is that people are all around the continents, and they all have different business models, and all these new ideas that come up together, they tend to steer the project in a direction that the world wants, not something that you feel the world wants. And of course, interoperability is where the world is moving. Finally, what is going to happen is, what I am seeing in the cloud industry is, public cloud took everything. At the start, it was infrastructure as a service, it was platform as a service, and everybody started going to the public cloud model except enterprises. They were scary. They still think about the security. They still think that it is not secure. So what they have been trying to do is, in our data center, we have these big enterprises. Slowly, they are actually putting non-critical applications on our cloud, on private cloud. And they are trying it out. They are just trying it out, how it works, what is the billing model, what is the security, what are the benefits, is it really saving us something? And the future that I see is what we call the hybrid cloud. What is going to happen is, in the future, there is going to be these leased lines between, as bandwidth gets cheaper and cheaper, you will see leased lines coming up between data centers and enterprises, and there will be a hybrid model of cloud where all critical applications will be running in their own data center, while they will be using for non-critical applications, for ballooning they will be using, and for disaster recovery they will be using public cloud of some third-party data center. So if that is done, if that really becomes true where the world is going, how will the cloud, and let's say they want to keep disaster recovery at 2 or 3 data centers across continents, will they operate seamlessly with one another? Even at the hardware level, the hardware that you get in US, do you get the same model of hardware in India? If you don't, if it has become obsolete, how do these two talk to each other? Is it interoperable? That is a big question. Now, while going through all this, I went through certain statistics, and Black Duck and Gartner, they have been doing a lot of, they attend all these seminars, and I have been also giving presentations to Gartner a lot of time. So they are basically influencers to these enterprise world. Now, as it stands today, the statistics that Black Duck has given is, they have taken the healthcare project, just that focus of healthcare arena, and today they are saying that almost 20,000 healthcare projects are basically across the globe being done on open source, complete open source. And their statement is that we have evolved from 2008, we have evolved. 26% of people believed that in next 5 years what is going to happen, world will go to open source, 50% of softwares will be open source. And today, after you see all these summits and so many people involved in open source development, so many new products coming up, and companies like Microsoft and IBM all are supporting open source, so that even Hyper-V, it's not only running Windows, it will also supports Linux now. So when the model is going towards that, people today are believing, from 28%, the belief has shifted to 62%. And these are basically the vendors, the CIOs, the CEOs of companies. And they are saying that in next 5 years, you will see more than 50% will be open source. The growth of APIs, if you see, I was just talking that innovation, how do I define innovation for me based on all our products that we have developed? Innovation can be stated as open source system plus a set of APIs helps me to innovate. So I had an open source system Zen, I had a set of APIs from Citrix which I could use to talk to Zen, and I could innovate an auto scaling cloud. IBM PureFlex has come up with many models. Now IBM PureFlex is still not supporting Zen though, but when I was talking with Srinivasan from Microsoft, he's already said that with Hyper-V, now they are going to support Linux flavors. So as a data center, for me, I don't have to keep two versions of cloud, one that runs on Linux and a separate one for Hyper-V or window based. So with one software, I'm able to take care of all the requirements, because if I lose on Windows, even though yes, community is going on Linux, even today 70% of the enterprises are running Windows that are hosted with us. Open source is eating the software world. Yes, we have seen a rise, and we have seen, and it is projected by 2014 it's going to double from what it is right now. An example, Android we talked about, if you look at the devices that were sold, that's a report from Gartner, in 2013 this is where the devices are going. So if you look at the Android, so almost 1.4 million of sales. While if you look at the Blackberries, the RIM is going down because it did not open up. In fact, now there is a Blackberry chat software for Android. So they have to open up. As my friend said, there is no other way. They have to open up. They have to work together, because it is not that they drive the business anymore. It's the customers who will be forcing to drive them that way. Now on the other hand, since I am not here to sell open source or not sell proprietary or sell proprietary, what have I seen in these 2 years while I was working on these open source projects? That same strength on the other hand became a weakness. In a way that whenever you needed somebody, there is no technical support that you can call unless you pay for the support. So see, there is a different business model that is emerging. Even though open source, that's why I am saying open source is not free. It's freedom to use. But there is a business model that is coming up where new companies are emerging who are charging you for supporting open source.